brutal wind chills continuing here in the Northeast and throughout the eastern half of the country, really. Right now, it feels like 18 below in Minneapolis, 27 below in Chicago, 24 below in Indianapolis. And we're also looking at bitter cold in the east, all the way into the southeast. It feels like 40 below in Saranac Lake, 0 in D.C., 4 below in New York. And for those folks in the southeast, it feels like Atlanta. Here's 0, 19 in Jacksonville, 10 below in Lexington. And we got another clipper coming through. Could drop generally 1 to 3 inches, but some areas locally could pick up maybe up to 5 inches. And once it moves through, the lake effect snow machine kicks in again. Steph, Tom Nizzle talking about snow in feet in western New York and northwestern PA.
No snow, unfortunately, in the Midwest. I mean, with all this cold air, you're like, come on, at least give me some snow I can go in and play in. Minneapolis, our wind chill is 14 below. Detroit, 7 below. Both cities sitting around 13.
Reynolds in Nashville, we're right now sitting in the single digits. Atlanta at 11. The record low for the date is 6. So it doesn't look like we'll get there, but it certainly feels like it, right? 25 in Tallahassee. Talk about feels like, those wind chills right now. It feels like 1 above 0 in Atlanta, 13 in Little Rock. But look at the wind chill of 12 all the way down to Tallahassee. This is extreme, and it is uncomfortable. It is dangerous out there. Charleston, you'll be seeing those wind chill temperatures only climb into the 20s for the lunch hour. Same for Atlanta. It's still going to feel like the 30s in the Panhandle, Florida, from Tallahassee to Jacksonville, and even into the overnight to tomorrow morning. So you think you get through this bus stop forecast. Well, you've got another one tomorrow where once again it's going to feel like in the teens across much of the southeast. We've been talking about that potential for some improvement. I'm going to show you by the numbers, Sam. It's a few degrees here and there tomorrow, back in the 40s in Atlanta, but we're still in the 50s and 60s even on into Saturday.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch the freezing line move all the way into central Florida. It didn't quite get to Orlando this morning, but it got real close. All right, it takes less than 10 minutes in temperatures like Maria just showed you for frostbite to set in. So in many cities, charities are opening up the warming centers this morning. This one, the Salvation Army set up in Rochester, Minnesota. The wind chill's 20 below in Rochester this morning. In a lot of cities, if you need to find a warming center, even if you just stepped out the door and you weren't prepared for the cold air today, or you find yourself stuck somewhere, pick up the phone, dial 311. A lot of areas will be able to tell you using that number where the warming centers are. Now, the coldest day of the year so far in Chicago, and Chicago has said in the homeless shelters, they will not turn anyone away tonight and into the early morning hours. We're starting below 0 with wind chills hitting the negative 30 mark. Mike Bettis is in a 4th day in a row in temperatures like this. And Mike, the news for folks is that this doesn't really go away through the weekend.
No, it really doesn't, Sam. This morning we're at 8 degrees below 0. Our coldest morning of the week so far, as you mentioned, 30 degrees below 0 with that wind chill. It looks like it stays pretty chilly now through the weekend, where we're going to go back and forth with just above 0 to well below 0. And so it's another one of those mornings where you really have to prepare yourself for the elements. Chicago schools, by the way, are closed for the 2nd day in a row. Administrators and maintenance workers will be on hand at school, so if the children just happen to show up at school today, there'll actually be someone there and they can stay inside and be warm and be supervised. But again, it's all exposed skin, cover it up. It's 10 minutes or less, you're going to get frostbite in these kinds of conditions. Chicago River's freezing over, Lake Michigan is freezing over, the people are freezing over, although doing everything they can to stay warm.
Well, I'm happy the sun is out. That makes it much better and easy to deal with. But I'm just wearing lots of layers. I've got leggings and I've got high socks on top of leggings, and I've got lots of wool and just lots of winter accessories. The trick is not to expose any skin.
And mission accomplished there. Not one single piece of exposed skin on that young lady. Congratulations for being the warmest person in Chicago. All right, let's show you that forecast. It is awfully chilly this morning. We stay below 0 for a good part of the morning, early afternoon. We should go above 0 today, but it comes with this caveat. A little bit of snow could be rolling again, another 1 to 3 inches rolling our way, which could slicken everything up. And only at the Weather Channel would meteorologists, by the way, want to do something like make popsicles. So come here, guys, this morning. How about pink lemonade this morning?
Right.
Let's make pink lemonade popsicles this morning. So let's fill up the ice cube tray. We'll be back with you in about half an hour or so, okay? And we'll be having popsicles.
It's enterprising, Mike. I'm just not sure you'll be able to sell them quickly today.
You don't think?
I don't think
there's
there's
a big seller.
I don't think there's a big market for it today, but I can't wait to see how long it takes.
No, they could surprise you here in Chicago.
I hope we can get the tray unstuck from the sidewalk itself. I mean, everything's freezing out there.
All right, we'll find out. And by the way, Chicago, the third largest school district in the country, closed again today. Shedd Aquarium says they're open if you're trying to figure out something to do with the kids. Please be careful when you're out there. Cold temperatures are making roads very slippery.
And like this 18-vehicle chain reaction accident in western Pennsylvania, we will tell you the safest thing you can do if you suddenly find yourself in this dangerous situation. Let's take a look at Mount Washington, New Hampshire, the ultimate observation this morning. 27 below the actual temperature. Wind chill of 74 below right now. That's in New Hampshire, obviously higher elevation, but always a crazy stat any time of year. But when it's this kind of Arctic outbreak, you check in there and you know you're going to see some cold readings. Temperatures in New York right now in the single digits. Washington at 12, Pittsburgh at a big gold goose egg, but you factor in the winds, which is so critical because any exposed skin is just going to get susceptible that much quicker. It feels like 6 below in New York, 10 below in Boston by the time the lunch hour rolls around. So dangerous cold all across the Northeast. But look at the winds here by tomorrow. They're out of the south. And I point that out because a few degrees, it will be a little bit warmer technically. And in fact, some of us going to get above freezing. Philadelphia, one of those spots, Washington, D.C. And even those areas that are in the single digits this morning, Sam, will feel a little bit better by Saturday as highs are going to be in that 20 to 30 degree range, which is actually warmer.
Yeah, and when we grow up in the Northeast, we know that's northeastern cold. In the Southeast, however, you're not used to it, but you're getting it. Anaridis Rodriguez is out this morning just outside of Atlanta. A-Rod, your wind chills this morning were at the 0 mark. So good morning. What did you find with folks out there?
Man, Sam, we are definitely getting that shot of brutal cold air. I'm at a gas station outside of the Atlanta area in the suburbs of Marietta, where people, it's usually their first stop as they're getting ready for the day, trying to grab a coffee. As you can see, a lot of them, if you can see them in their car, they're bundled up with their hats and their gloves. It is colder here in the Atlanta Metroplex area than it is in the city of Denver, Colorado. We haven't been this cold since last January. In fact, we were above freezing on Wednesday morning, but temperatures have taken a nosedive since then. Right now, the air temperature is 9 degrees, but as you mentioned, the wind chill is hovering around 0. It's even hard for me to talk, and that means this is dangerous cold weather.
Temperatures 20 degrees below average in the south today.
It's crazy.
It's freezing.
Even a trip to the gas station requires extra layers.
We got 1 layer, 2 layers.
I am wearing long underwear. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on TV.
For people who work outside, this cold creates unique challenges.
If it's below 34, you're going to get freezing pain. You're going to wake up with freezing pain. Probably won't be working tomorrow if it's too cold.
It's a little harder to work with your hands doing the small stuff like holding a screw or a nail in place.
You can see a crack right here.
And plumbers, no trouble is on the way.
When it freezes, what it does, the copper expands. And once it expands so much, and it has to bust.
Taking a few minutes to protect these pipes will save the homeowners a lot of money and frustration. And Southern schools now warning parents to dress students warmly with dangerous wind chills expected.
Santa brought us hats and mittens and gloves and scarves, so we will be bundling up. We can handle it as long as it's in short bursts. Sam and Maria, a lot of school districts here in the Atlanta Metroplex area starting a little late. We know that in North Georgia, some counties, as you mentioned earlier in the hour, are picking up kids instead of at the bus stop at their front door and asking them to wait by the window. Of course, we're traveling with our Toyota mobile weather fleet, and we have our Weather Channel app, which I love and shows you just how cold it is outside. 9 degrees. With the wind chill right now, it feels like 9, but look at that. We do have a wind chill advisory in effect until 10 a.m. And just to answer the question to that mom you just heard in the piece, this is going to be a short blast of cold air. Look at that. Right now we're going to have temperatures in the 20s all throughout the day. Tomorrow they're also going to be in the teens and into the 20s. We're not going to see temperatures going to above freezing until tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully we'll be at average temperatures by next week, Sam.
Yeah, we're hoping for that. At least we get above the freezing mark by tomorrow afternoon.
Yay!
That's better. I know, but
no,
it's better than a lot of people can say.
Everyone's looking for the hourly. When will it be? When will it be? Oh, no, keep going.